Hey, how you doing? I'm Eric.
I'm Ian.
Nice to meet
you.
Nice to meet you. So, have you ever been to a counseling center before?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, before we jump into everything, there's just a couple things I want to explain real quick about a counseling session. First of all, I just want you to understand that everything we talk about is confidential. There's everything that you say in here cannot be shared outside unless there are certain circumstances, such as if there's a potential for somebody getting hurt or such. There are a couple of different times when I have to break confidentiality in order to tell the appropriate authorities for certain situations, such as if somebody's in harm. But are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, we'll talk about the financial aspect of it once we finish the session. We do have a standard rate of $70, but if you fill out the form when we're done, the first session's free. But if you fill out the form, then we can figure out how much you'll have to pay with insurance and everything. Also, we just have one more thing we have to fill out. It's just a normal, basic health quiz. It's just a couple questions. If you don't mind answering real quick, and I'll just ask them to you, and then we can keep going. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, for the past 30 days, how do you? I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then it's going to be everything's going to refer to the last 30 days. So, for the last 30 days, how often have you felt tired out for no good reason? It's a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being all the time and 5 being none of the time.
Okay. Probably like in the middle, about a 3.
Okay. How about nervous?
I'd say more of a 2.
Okay. How about, have you ever felt so nervous that nothing could calm you down?
4.
4, okay. Hopeless?
4.
Okay. Restless or fidgety?
2.
Depressed?
3.
How about so depressed that nothing could cheer you up?
3.
Okay. That everything was an effort?
How's that?
How often did you feel like everything was an effort to do?
4.
How about worthless? How often did you feel worthless in the last 30 days?
3.
Okay. Okay, so just the next 3 questions, real easy. So during the last 30 days, how many days out of 30 were you totally unable to work or carry out your normal activities because of the previous feelings?
So it's like a same 1 to 5.
No, sorry, this is how many days? Like, out of the last 30 days, have there been any days where you've been totally unable to work because of anything?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. How many days were you able to do only half or less of what you've been able to do because of the feelings?
Maybe a quarter of the 30.
Okay.
Like that.
So, like, we'll say 7, like about 7 days?
Yeah, about a week or so.
Okay. How many times have you seen a doctor or health professional about these feelings? Or another counselor or somebody else?
0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Alright, well, thanks for answering those questions. So, what brings you in today?
So I've been having an issue with like online shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been spending copious amounts of money trying to buy certain things that I feel like I need,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really need them.
Okay. What kind of things do you normally shop for?
Mostly like clothing, electronic stuff, shoes,
Mm-hmm.
stuff for my car, stuff like that.
Okay. Do you find that there's certain times when you have found yourself shopping more often than others?
Most of the time when I see someone that has something that I like, and then I go and end up in buying it, or I figure out what that is, and then go and buy it, or see how much it is, and then
Okay.
see what I can do to get it.
So it's generally when you see something, you're not just on the internet searching for stuff, you see something and then you want to buy it. Is that correct?
Most of the time,
Okay.
I would say that. Sometimes it's I just want to go
Mhm.
search the internet and try to find something, but
Okay.
like if somebody has a certain pair of shoes or something,
Mhm.
or if I see this car with this certain thing or
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So would you say, there's a certain kind of thing, like you said, cars and shoes, is there anything else that you spend your money on?
Other than clothes, like so like I have a computer, I buy a lot of stuff for that,
Okay.
trying to make that faster and
Mm.
better.
Mm-hmm.
But I shouldn't be buying them because it's led to some complications.
What kind of complications?
So obviously I've been spending a lot of the money that I don't have myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been using like my credit cards, I've been using my parents' credit cards and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with your parents?
Up until recently, we're pretty close.
Okay. So how about now after, or I guess I should ask before that, how long has this been going on for, the shopping?
I'd say maybe about a half a year or so,
Okay.
around that period of time.
Okay, about half a year. So have your parents known about it the whole time?
Not till maybe 2.5 months ago.
Okay. So how is your relationship with your parents now?
It's difficult because of the fact that I've been using their credit cards without them knowing.
Okay.
Doing things like that behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really please them, and I've spent quite a bit of money behind their back. So.
Okay. So do you have any siblings?
I do have a younger sister. Yeah.
Okay. How's your relationship with her?
We're pretty close, I guess, as siblings go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
So it's that brother sister.
you don't have to share. You don't always have to be best friends with your sibling necessarily. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But that's good that you seem to have a good relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I see on your intake form here that you're you're 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And you said this started about 6 months ago. So where are you currently living right now?
Back at the school I go to.
Okay.
I'm enrolled there, so I'm staying on campus.
Okay. So did the shopping problem start before you came to school, or was it after?
It wasn't as prevalent before school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always liked. It was more of like my parents were monitoring me more, but now that I'm on my own, I found
Okay.
myself buying more things.
Mm. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you think you've spent total in these last 6 months? If you have a guess, you may not even know.
I'd say maybe two, three grand.
Okay. Over the course of 6 months. Okay. Are you working currently?
Yeah, I do have a job, and then I have a job when I'm not at school.
Okay.
Back home.
So, yeah. do you work? You don't work full time, do you? Or at school? Okay. Because that would be very impressive if you were able to work full time and be a student. I'd be very impressed.
My job at home pays pretty well, so.
Okay.
So I've had my own money, but I've spent through that quite easily.
Okay, so you've used up all of your funds.
Yeah, most of those funds were my own until I found myself without that,
Okay.
and my job at school couldn't really buy these things that I wanted, so
Okay.
I was using my parents'.
Okay. So is it 2,000 to 3,000 of your own money that you've used?
If we go with 3, it'd be more 2 of my own.
2 of your own.
Yeah.
And that's excluding like your normal expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have you tried anything to overcome these problems on your own?
Kinda. So I've talked to my roommates in the dorm, and I've had them come in and ask me what I'm doing or try to keep me on track. It works to an extent, but not. I can obviously find time to do what I want.
Okay. So it hasn't really worked. Have you tried to go to anybody else about this for help?
No, not really.
Okay. So if you were to if you were to look down the road and you were to, of your life and say, this is what I want to be, like this is where I want to be at in however much time, 6 months, a year, where would you like to see yourself in the future?
Well, I want to repair the relationships that I've wounded.
Okay.
And I want to put that money that I've spent on stupid stuff back into my account, because it is an issue being in college, not having any funds. So I want to replace them and pay back my parents what I've spent of their money.
Okay. Well, those seem like definitely some good goals that we can work on as we keep meeting. Have you ever done any group counseling before, such as an example would be such as Alcoholics Anonymous? Obviously you wouldn't go to that because you're not struggling with that, but have you gone to a group session for something like that before?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So have you ever there's a program called Celebrate Recovery, but before I ask about a little more information on that, tell me about your spiritual life. Do you find yourself religious? What would you consider yourself? What do you believe?
I'm a Christian. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I am.
Would you consider yourself a strong Christian? How would you define that term?
I'd say pretty strong. The school I go to is a religious school, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this program I mentioned, Celebrate Recovery, is a Christian organization that specifically works with people struggling with some sort of addiction. It could be any sort of addiction, but they welcome everybody who wants to come and improve and get better from these things. So, but it's based on a Christian Christian principles. Have you ever heard of the 12 steps before?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, just to give you a quick overview of what Celebrate Recovery does, they point out, they use the 12 steps, which is popular among other group therapy sessions for addictions, and they explain that one, we are unable to overcome this problem on our own.
Okay.
And then the second main tenet is that in order to overcome these situations, we need something that's greater than we are. And for us, what we understand and what we know from the Bible is that God is the ultimate authority, and God can help us through Christ overcome our struggles. And it's something where that can provide a lot of hope, and it provides group support, because I think you've acknowledged that you've even tried to do your own, tried to come to solutions on your own, and it's not really worked. But that's the beauty of the church, and the beauty of working with other believers and Christians. They can provide a support system to help us overcome our struggles, whether it's with addiction, or such as a shopping addiction, or something even with any struggle that we have. God has designed the church to be something that can encourage us and build us up, not just be there for enjoyment in a sense, but in a way to help us, pull us out of difficult times and struggles. So is that something that you would be interested in?
I think that would be pretty beneficial to me.
Okay. One more question that I have that's similar to that. How involved are you with your church right now?
I'd say I'm pretty involved.
Okay.
I try to help out the youth group as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then just do like small events that we have. I help out with those.
Okay. Does anybody at your church know about your shopping struggles?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, I would encourage you to keep reaching out to your church, keep being a part of your church, and make sure that you continue to build relationships through them. Obviously, you don't have to share what you're not comfortable with. And I think the Celebrate Recovery group could help. There's actually one about 5 or 6 minutes away at a church called Grace Bible Church, and they provide a Celebrate Recovery that we could get in contact. We could contact them together if you would like, or you can contact them yourself to figure out what time they meet. I'm pretty sure it's on Fridays at 7. And as long as that works, I know they'd be more than happy to let you come and attend. It's up to you if you would like to stay, but if you like it, they have a normal hour time of worship, and then a lesson, and then they have some other things to work through, and then they also meet another night if you would like to continue to attend that if you feel comfortable with it.
Okay.
So I think definitely we can work on that in the sessions to come. But I think I want to encourage you to stick out the process and continue in the process, if that makes sense. Because I like your goals. You want to restore your family connections, and you want to rebuild some relationships, and you want to slow down on this, or kind of get away from this shopping struggle that you've had. And through Christ and through the body of believers and Christians and people encouraging you, I truly believe that Christ can help you overcome these difficulties. Scripture talks about how Christ has given us the power to overcome sin, and we're not enslaved by sin anymore. Not that it's always easy to get out of it, but that there's hope, that we do not have to succumb to sin, and there's a way out.
Okay.
So I just want to encourage you with that as we start this process. So in the coming weeks, we can work on rebuilding relationships with your parents and working on some of those other goals. So do you have any other thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it was good meeting with you, and I will see you next week then. Same time work?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.